Hello and welcome back to the another episode of the Hindu News Analysis. Well, it is 21st September 2025 today, and in this video, we are going to discuss some important articles which are very much relevant for your preparation. But as you know, today it is Sunday and we don't have editorial sections in the Hindu newspaper. So, whatever was important for you, we had brought it here and we will discuss that. Before we start our discussion, I would like to give the idea how we are going to approach these articles so that it will give you the proper idea and it will make you free about the video. It will get you ready for the video. With respect to every article, first we will try to understand what is the summary of the article. What does the article wants to convey us? What does the author wants to convey us? What does article talk about? What are the important points it has raised? We'll try to understand that. We'll try to understand the crux of the article. Then we look into the key points which are given in the article, which are very much important for you, which you need to note down, and from where a question can be framed. For example, if it is framed from the prelims perspective. And from these key points, you can use these key points in your mains question if the question is framed from such article. Then, third, we look into the important prelims or mains question which can be framed from the article. So this is our approach. This would be our approach with respect to every article here. Now, without any delay, let's start our discussion by looking at the first article which we had brought out here. As you can see, the article is basically talking about the Saudi-Pakistan Pact, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan Pact. First of all, we need to understand why does it irritate us? Why does it irritate many countries in the world? We are India, we are our sovereignty is different, and Pakistan it is a sovereign country. Even though we don't like them, they don't like us. They are different. They have their own sovereignty. They can do whatever they want to do. Similarly, Saudi Arabia, their sovereignty is different. They can do whatever they want to do. But at the same time, why does it irritate us? That is the point which we need to understand here. And also, how does it? What does it signify? Signify that we have to understand. For example, if we will try to understand the history of the Saudi Arabia and its relationship in the South Asia, because for example, with respect to Pakistan and India, it has been very different if from the history itself. Saudi Arabia, they had been always the allies of Pakistan in a way we can say. They had supported Pakistan in every difficulty. They had given them funds, especially when they tested their nuclear program. And with respect to India, they were very much reserved for a long time. But thanks to recent governments, our relationship with Saudi Arabia has increased tremendously. We are doing the trade, we are doing great trade. There are many Indians in Saudi Arabia who send every year remittances to India, and our relationship had improved to the highest levels. And if you can remember, when the Operation Sindoor, when there was Pahalgam attack, at that time, our PM Narendra Modi, he was in Saudi Arabia itself. So the relationship with Saudi Arabia, it was increasing tremendously. But there is also a catch. There has been the issue in the Middle East is very much different. For example, if you want to side with any country, definitely there would be some other country with with whom there would be the issues. For example, there is Israel is there, Iran is there. So these are the countries with which the Saudi Arabia has the issue, and India has tried its best. We had tried our best to, to balance all these countries. We had been trying our best. We had great relationships with Iran. We have growing relationship with Israel, and at the same time, we tried to balance the Saudi Arabia. But this pact which the Saudi Arabia and Pakistan had signed, in simpler terms, if we will try to understand what this mutual defense pact is, in it we will have to understand that we need to know that it is the pact where the headline is that aggression on any country is would be considered the aggression on both the countries. So we know that the condition in with respect to Southeast Asia or South Asia here, we know that we are often in we are often we don't like the countries, we don't like each other, especially Pakistan and India. And recently we are still in the Operation Sindoor era operation. Sindoor era, as the government has stated it many times that it has just been paused, but it is not over. So definitely it will have once, for example, if such incident happens, if for example if Pakistan tries to infiltrate its militants into the Kashmir region or into the India, and they will do any unwanted activity there, then our new normal, what we had said that we will attack the Pakistan territory, we will attack the infrastructure, the militant infrastructure in Pakistan, that is going to be very difficult. That can be very much difficult for us to do so, because by this pact we will be angering these two. So this is something which we need to worry about. And at the same time, how our relationship will build from now onwards towards Saudi Arabia, towards Israel, and towards Iran. So we need to balance all these countries. And at the same time, the article also talks about the timing at which this agreement was signing. If we look at the Middle East, the countries in the Middle East, like the countries like Qatar, countries like UAE, countries like Saudi Arabia, they had always been dependent on, with respect to their defense, they had been always dependent on they had been dependent on the US defense system. US defense system. The US has guaranteed the security to these countries. But unfortunately, if you can remember, few days back, when the Israel attacked the territory in Qatar, so it raised various question marks about the US's credibility. Can US defend these countries when the enemy is the country like Israel, when the enemy is the ally of USA? Can at that time the USA will favor them? So this question has come to the discussion, and in this background, this treaty was signed. So this raises various questions. For example, the questions like, will Pakistan's nuclear program be the part? Will they that play the part when there would be any conflict? Saudi Arabia would be in. For example, Saudi Arabia is often in conflicts with Yemen. It is often in conflict with Iran, and it may get into conflict with Israel. So these are the questions which would be answered by time. But right now, what is irritant for us is this pact, because it is going to harm the relationship between India and Saudi Arabia. So this is in crux what does the article here wants to convey us. Now with respect to this, let's have a look at the key points which were given in the article and try to understand it more properly. So here, first it talks about the pact's core tenet. What is the core tenet of the pact? The agreement establishes a principle of collective defense, committing each country to respond to aggression against the other, that we had discussed. It also includes the formation of a joint military committee, intelligence sharing, and expanded training programs. So this is what this mutual agreement is about. Then what is the geopolitical context of it? Geopolitical context, the pact's timing is crucial as it follows an Israeli bombing of Qatar and is viewed as a response to the perceived unreliability of US security guarantees, which we had discussed. This sense of vulnerability has been compounded by the ongoing war in Gaza and the growing military power of Iran backed Houthis. So these are the issues which has raised, which speeded up this signing of this agreement. What would be the Pakistan's role? Pakistan, with its significant military manpower and nuclear capabilities, is posing positioning itself as a key security partner for Saudi Arabia. Pakistan's defense minister has even suggested that the Pakistan's nuclear capabilities could be accessible to Saudi Arabia under the pact, a claim that adds a layer of complexity to the deal. Then, what would be the implications for India? The pact complicates India's foreign policy in West Asia. India has been building strong ties with both Saudi Arabia and Israel, as we had discussed. However, the new pact, coupled with Saudi Arabia's reaction to Israel's recent action, signals that Riyadh may be less sensitive towards to India's concerns regarding Pakistan. So this would be this something which we need to take care of. Then what are the risks and challenges? The agreement comes with substantial risks for both signatories. Pakistan could be pulled into Saudi Arabia's regional rivalries and Iran with Iran or the conflict in Yemen. Conversely, Saudi Arabia could become entangled in South Asia's tensions, particularly if a conflict between India and Pakistan flares up. So these are the issues which can be which this agreement can raise for both these countries. Why we are concerned about this? Because we are often in conflict with Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. We consider them as our friends. So this is something which will worry us. So with respect to this, what kind of question can be asked? Basically this topic is fully focused on your mains. If a question would be asked from this article, it would be a mains type question. But here we had brought a type of question which if they would want, they can ask you. For example, according to the article, what is the core principle of the mutual defense pact signed between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan? It is considering any aggression against one country as aggression against both. So this would be the answer to it. So with this, let's move to the another article and let's try to understand what does this article wants to convey us here. Well, here we know that right now the relationship between India and USA is not that great. Is not that great. Why? Because the tariffs which which the US imposed on India, because of the tariffs which the US imposed on India, they, which are biased, a kind of biased tariffs which were imposed on us. You know, there was definitely the bias towards the India. Even though the US itself buys Russian oil, but still they imposed it on India. And when we started buying the Russian oil, at that time we got the permission from the. It was basically the US which pushed India to buy the Russian oil. So with respect to this, the relationship derailed, and also the credit which the US President Donald Trump wanted from India, we did not give that credit to him. So that is also one of the concern. Maybe it is the ego. That's also the concern. And recently, what is the news that USA, they had alleged that India is one of the main supplier of the opioid drug, which is the fentanyl, which is mostly consumed by the youth of USA, and the overdose of it is the leading cause of the death of the US's youth. And they had accused India that India is one of the major producers, suppliers of it, with the China, with the countries like Pakistan and Afghanistan. So with respect to this, let's see what are the key points given in the article, and let's try to analyze the article. Here, what is this major list? A list compiled annually by the US State Department that names countries contributing to the flow of narcotics and their precursor chemicals. Inclusion on the list is not necessarily a reflection of a country's counter narcotics efforts, but rather its role in the global supply chain. So that we have to look into. What is the fentanyl crisis? Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that is approximately 50 times more potent than heroin. A dose of just 2 milligram can be fatal. It is the leading cause of overdose deaths in the USA that we had discussed. What are the international supply chains? Precursors, producers of precursors. The article identifies China and India as significant sources of the precursor chemicals such as NPP and 4-ANPP used to make fentanyl. So we are the producer. We are leading, according to the US. We are the leading in the produce in the produces of the precursors for the fentanyl. Then what is the processing and trafficking? Mexican cartels are central to processing these precursors into fentanyl and then smuggling the final product into the US, which we had discussed. What are the regulatory challenges? Fentanyl precursors are difficult to regulate because they have legitimate industrial and pharmaceutical uses. Additionally, only very small amounts are required to produce large quantities of fentanyl, making them easy to smuggle. So, they have the the fentanyl precursors. They are difficult to regulate because they have legitimate industrial and pharmaceutical uses. So, because of that, it gets very hard to very hard to regulate them, and very small amount is needed, which eventually adds to the complexity to regulate it. Then what are the recent actions against Indian entities? The article mentions that in January 2025, two Indian companies, Resuter Chemicals and Ethos Chemicals, were charged by the US for conspiring to export fentanyl precursors. And executive Bhavesh Lathia was arrested in New York, and the US has revoked visas for certain associated business executives. So this is what US has recently done with respect to this chemical. So here, what kind of question we can expect from it? Here the question says, according to Adhikar, what is the competitive mu opioid receptor antagonist that is administered to reverse a fentanyl overdose? It is naloxone. So please do remember that. A very typical language used here, but you need to know what is something which is used to reverse the fentanyl overdose. It is naloxone. So with this, let's move to the another article which was in the newspaper today. Here, the article is about the Viksit Bharat goal, the Atmanirbhar Bharat goal. Atmanirbhar Bharat goal, which was given by the PM Narendra Modi, and he had stated few important points in this article, in this visit in the Gujarat, where he stated few important points which we need to analyze about. So let us discuss what does the Narendra Modi discussed there. First of all, he discussed that in the present world there are no permanent enemies. No permanent enemies. We may have a conflict today. We may have conflict with Pakistan. Who knows? Maybe after a few years we may be the good friends. Or today we have conflict with China. Who knows? Our relationship would get better. Today we have issues with USA. Who knows? Our relationships would get much better than we had. So there are no permanent enemies in the modern world. But one thing the Narendra Modi stated that if there is any permanent enemy, that is the dependence on another country. That is dependence on another country. So we need to end this dependence. And how we can end this dependence? We need to be self-reliant. We need to be self-reliant. We need our domestic markets. We need to in our domestic markets there should be Indian produces only. Then only we can be the self-reliant. And how we can achieve it? We can achieve it through various investments. Maybe we need to invest in ports. We need to there should be much connectivity. Our infrastructure should be viable for that. And in this regard, there are many things which are discussed in the article. So here let's have a look at the key points given in the article which we need to know. Here, what is the core message? Prime Minister Modi's central message is that India's main enemy is dependence on other countries. He called for this country to become completely self-reliant, Atmanirbhar by 2047, the year India celebrates 100 years of independence. So the goal is by 2020, 2047, we need to be self-reliant. We need to be Atmanirbhar. So what can be done in this? For example, maritime sector projects. What are the projects which can speed up this? To achieve this goal, Mr. Modi inaugurated and laid the foundation stone for the several maritime projects valued at over 34,200 crore. Key projects include the Mumbai International Cruise Terminal, new container terminals at Sayama Prasad Mukherjee Port and Pradeep Port, and improvements at Chennai's Kamarajar Port. So this is one of the step in reaching this goal. And then the article also talks about one nation, one document, and one nation, one port. The PM Narendra Modi announced that all major ports will be freed from complex, fragmented processes. These new initiatives are designed to simplify trade and commerce by standardizing documents and port operations nationwide. Then Make in India Vision, the event Samudar Se Smridhi. The event Samudra Se Simidri was jointly hosted by Make in India and the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, emphasizing the government's focus on domestic manufacturing of goods from chips to ships. So this is what the article here has discussed. So with this, what kind of question you can expect in the exam? Here it is the question. As per the article, Prime Minister Narendra Modi set a target for India to become completely self-reliant uh, Atmanirbhar by which year? 2047. So with this, here I would like to give the brief introduction about the initiative so that if you are new to our channel, you will get more connected with us. Well, about this initiative, the name of the initiative is Target IAS 2026. Under this initiative, I had promised you that every day I will upload 2 videos. But unfortunately, from last 1 week, I had not uploaded any video, and I'm really sorry for that. I have some works to do here, but I will try my best to be on time, to give you whatever I had promised you. So with respect to this, the first video which we have to discuss, which we have to upload, is about the current affairs, which is this video where we discuss the daily news analysis. We take up the important articles, we discuss them, we break them down, we see what are the key points given in the articles, and we try to frame the possible prelims and mains questions from these articles. This is what we do in the first video. And in the second video, we discuss the daily news analysis. Sorry, we discuss the static syllabus of yours. Static syllabus. And here we had already started with Indian polity, which we had completed. Governance we completed. Now we are discussing the ancient history. Here again, I had not uploaded any video from last 7 days because I was really very busy. I could not upload, but I had promised you by the month of January 2026 I will complete your full syllabus, and I would be on time on that. That I can promise you. So here in the ancient history we had already discussed almost 9 to 10 lectures. So if you want to watch them, you can go to my YouTube channel and you can search it there. So what is the exception here? Every subject would be taught except the optionals. We are not going to teach you the optionals here, because for that you need expert teachers, and we don't have that expert teachers right now, and we don't have time for that too. So this is about the initiative. And also, as we are delivering the lectures, we had prepared notes for you. These notes are very beautifully written. They contain every topic what is required for you to clear the exam, whether related to prelims or mains. And I can promise you, for example, right now we had completed Indian polity and governance book, the comprehensive book on Indian polity and governance, which I had wrote in 1100, more than 1100 pages. And what is the good thing about this book? It contains every topic what is required for you to clear the exam. Where from you can expect the question, everything is cleared here. And one thing more, after every topic which we had discussed here, we had brought the prelims, model prelims or mains question, which will give you the idea how this topic is important for your exam. So if you want to get access to it, yeah, what you will have to do, you will have to mail me at salvation UPSC 136 at the rate gmail.com, and you will be told to pay only 200 rupees. This is the only amount which you can pay us, which you can contribute us, and this is for you guys only. It is your discretion, but I can recommend you guys, if you will go through these notes, you don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to spend your time on reading other books, that I can guarantee you. So with this, if you want to get access to it, please do mail us here. We'll definitely respond. And if you like this initiative, please do subscribe the channel, do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. And please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you guys. Now, without any delay, let's move to the last article of today's discussion and see what is given in here. Well, this article is about the Palestine issue in the United Nations General Assembly. Here, the India has backed a resolution to let Palestinian president address United Nations General Assembly. So India has backed it with 145 countries, and there are only 5 countries which opposed it, which opposed this resolution. Out of these 5 countries, it is Israel and US, as we know. There are only 5 countries which opposed this resolution. So it says a lot about India, what our how we had perceived this issue. We had always, since the history, since the Palestine Israel issue, we had always believed in the two state solution. We, at the same time, we believe that Israel has the right to exist, and at the same time we believe that Palestine has the right to exist. We don't want any children to die unnecessarily here, and we had always supported for the ceasefire. Even last year, sometimes we, in a way, changed our stance over it, but mostly our approach had been this, that we had always believed in the two-state solution, and this is what is recommended right now for India. This should be the foreign policy of India, that we should always believe in it, because right now, if we look at the countries like USA, we don't have that good relationship with them. If we look at countries like Saudi Arabia, the Sunni power in Middle East, we don't want to derail from. We had a great relationship with them, but at the same time, we don't want to move away from them. So these are some issues which we need to take care of. So here, with respect to this article, let's see what are the key points given in here. First, United Nations General Assembly resolution, the 193 member UN General Assembly passed a resolution titled "Participation by the State of Palestine during its 80th session." Voting outcome: the resolution was adopted with 145 nations in favor, 5 against, including the US and Israel, and 6 abstentions. Then India's stance: India voted in favor of the resolution that we had discussed. Reasons for the resolution: the resolution was put forward after the US denied visas to Palestinian officials, including President Abbas, barring their in-person participation. So what would be the mechanism for address? President Abbas will deliver his address via pre-recorded statement, which will be played in the General Assembly Hall on September 25. His representative, who is physically present, will introduce the video. So this is how it would be done. US had not granted visas to them, but it would be done through the pre-recorded video. So with respect to this, what kind of question we can expect in the exam? A simple question in the context of the recent United Nations General Assembly resolution on Palestine participation. Discuss India's diplomatic position on the Israel-Palestine issue. A simple question can be asked on this article. If you want to write the answer to it and want me to check that answer, you can mail me at salvation UPSC 136 at the rate gmail.com, and I will definitely check your answer, and I will tell you where are the improvements needed. So with this, I'm going to conclude my discussion here. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much and have a nice day. So please do subscribe the channel and be ready for the next video where we will discuss the static syllabus. Thank you very much.